Travis, thank you so much. We're now live. I'm Phil. I'm a partner at Webisoft. We started this podcast because we were very curious about companies and industries we're interested in. And so today we have Travis Rowitsch. Travis, you want to take a couple minutes just to explain who you are and what you do?
My name is Travis Rowitsch. I am 28 years old, and I am the Director of Operations for CEDUR Synthetic Roofing. CEDUR Synthetics has been around for about 15 years. We are a polyurethane manufacturer specializing in making synthetic wood shake roofing. So we kind of saw an interesting market there, the guy that designed this stuff, and that people love the look of a cedar roof, right? It's got that lift, it's got that volume, it's very homey, very cozy. But it's generally very bad for your home. They are expensive roofs. They break frequently, require a lot of maintenance. And you're also basically throwing a giant tinderbox up on your ceiling.
Not
So
ideal.
he kind of sought a way to mitigate all of that stuff. And he found that polyurethane was kind of the perfect medium when blended with our, specialty chemical composition. So our product is basically indestructible. It lasts 50 to 60 years. Our warranty covers it to that. And it is the most fireproof thing on the market. My favorite demo that I give to customers that come into the front office that want to see it in action is to put my hand on the front side of a shake, hit the other side of it with an acetylene torch for about 25 minutes, and just keep my hand there. There's not enough heat transfer to burn me.
So
It
far,
is
you've kept both your hands, you're
so
saying.
far they're
They're still there.
all gravy. Yep.
So 50 to 60 years, that's quite impressive, actually. Just knowing what a typical life cycle is for a roof.
Typical life cycle depends on the product you're buying. So some of the kind of lower composition stuff like asphalt shingles that most people get, you're looking at 10, 15
Yeah,
years.
that's what I have.
Yep. Higher grade products are that are more expensive, like ceramic tiles, slate roofing. You're probably looking in the 35 to 45 range. The only thing that really tends to go north of 50 is synthetics and plastics. But synthetics and plastics in general, outside of our specific synthetic, are starting to become banned on the market.
Why is that?
They do not have the correct fireproofing capabilities. And
Hmm.
so if they catch, while they do have a high combustion point, if they do, they generate molten slag that begins falling through the home. So,
That's not ideal.
nope, generally not. Firefighters will not enter your home if they see you have a plastic roof because
Oh, interesting.
it'll go straight through their suits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's basically lava. It's plastic lava.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that time for
Yeah.
everyone.
Probably not a good idea to pick that. Is there a climate restriction to your product? Like, is it only good in, certain areas of the world or?
Oh no, we install internationally, sell all over the world. We do a lot of our sales actually up in Canada.
Yep.
People like the wood shake next to the forest. Go figure. But we're all over the place. I think the last big international we did the Seychelles Four Season Resort in the Seychelles Islands off the coast of South Africa.
So you do a lot commercial.
It's mostly commercial and high dollar. Yeah,
Hmm.
the product is 3 to 4 times more expensive than an asphalt roof, so we definitely only kind of sell higher end. It's
I
just
see.
expensive to make.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Fair. So in your current position, can you describe a typical day?
I head everything for this company outside of its sales and marketing. I handle inventory management, maintenance and engineering, research and development, production operations, quality management, facilities maintenance, all that fun. So standard day to day, get in, check in with my 10 or 12 department managers, make sure all the lines are humming, meet with vendors through the first half of my day, deal with any hiccups and headaches with inbound and outbound, anything, whether it's stuff we're selling or stuff we're buying. That shifts into the afternoon, meet with the other executives, make sure that there's nothing getting lost in translation, either for areas where we, overlap or any of my long-term or CapEx projects. We hit shift change right about now. Luckily for you, Phil, my guys know what they're doing today, so I get to leave them alone. That's when we hit most of our hard hitting maintenance that we need to hit. Then my night's crew comes in, I hand off to them, make sure everything again is cruising and rolling and staying online. Typically get out of here around 6, 7 o'clock, and then I'm online with them till 10 or 11 in case anything blows up.
And then you do it all over again.
And do it all over again the next day. Yeah.
Wow. How did you land into that position? Like, what's your career path been so far?
I am among that blessed generation that graduated during COVID.
Lovely.
My background is in the hard sciences. I have a degree in medicinal biochemistry, and also an associate's degree in applied free engineering principles. I just wanted any job I could get, right? Because got to pay the rent, all that stuff. And I got hired on by Amazon, of all places, in their supply chain department. I oversaw their line haul network for about a year, did really well with that. They decided that my brain was best suited elsewhere. They bounced me into their analytics team that oversees the North American fulfillment network, where I acted as an internal business analyst. They would fly me around to new buildings or underperforming buildings, and I'd kind of give them a boot camp on what best looks like, as well as do analytics on their robotics, their conveyance, that kind of thing, to see if there's any like true mechanical failures where like, hey, they just don't have this set up well and it's just out of their control and it's causing them to fail every night. I really liked that, and I did it for about 2.5 years. And then I decided I wanted to get out of the city I went to college in, which was Phoenix. Amazon's great, and then it kind of just has a transfer portal. And I was able to hit the ground running here in Denver as an operations manager at one of their sort stations where they load the vans out. Got tired of working nights though. The hours there were brutal. It was like 10 p.m. to noon the next day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, people's brains are just not wired for that, man. I've never met anyone who's is. So I just decided I want to look for something new. CEDUR was actively hiring for a production supervisor, and they felt that I was uniquely qualified because I had an extensive operations background, but I also have a chemistry degree, and that's not an overlap you run into very frequently, I would think. So they're like, oh, you're the just right fit. And then after being here for 2 or 3 months, they realized that I was capable of taking on a whole lot more than just running a single equipment line. And now here we are.
Okay. So good fit?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty dang good fit.
Very cool. What's, in your opinion, the biggest challenge you're going to face in the next couple of years as a company?
Probably controlling supply chain risk. Urethane is a very specific blend of chemicals. Our product specifically is proprietary and is custom designed for us.
Okay.
One of the things I kind of, needed to teach CEDUR when I started here is the importance of risk mitigation in business, especially in manufacturing operations. A lot of times people that aren't super well versed in manufacturing, they get real excited about that buzzword lean, How do we do more with less? How do we have less? How do we just in time? And it's like, well, that's all great until everything's down and now you're hemorrhaging $10,000 an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? So teaching people that balance, and the biggest kicker for that balance here is, it's just getting these one-off products that nobody makes. I kind of have the same exact issue with my manufacturing equipment. I'm in the process of rebuilding everything here. This facility's been ongoing for about 20 years. It was not well maintained for me, unfortunately. It's pretty beat up, but it was all custom made for CEDUR. So you can't source backup parts for anything. And a lot of the equipment that feeds into the main equipment, they just don't make it anymore. So when it comes to, hey, this broke, it's like, well, yeah, I can figure out a way to, duct tape a air inlet open, or I can redesign this whole thing from the ground up. So I don't just play maintenance man, I play engineer. And then it's, how long is it going to take to actually get this engineering onto a manufacturing line, get this into the facility? How do I make sure I have reoccurring parts for this coming in? And for the chemicals, it's even gnarlier, right? You have to conduct research and development testing. You have to do closed source samples. Then you have to do processing samples. We work in the construction industry, so we have to vet through independent engineering firms that our product's not going to fail when someone installs it, or we're opening ourselves up to a class action. That's like a 3 to 4 month process. They have to see, what does this look like when it sits on a roof for 180 days? And that's just to get the stamp for me to use it. So Those are the specific headaches that urethane seems to deal with.
Hmm. So really wearing all the hats, essentially,
Yeah,
in
wearing
your
all the
case.
hats. In my case, yeah. But I think just in general, like I said, the big thing is that this is such a niche and such a kind of small industry that you don't have a lot of options. And you don't have a lot of players when it comes to how do I find my solution? So
Right.
you have to invent it.
Yeah.
And that comes with its own set of challenges. And like I said, just mitigating that business risk.
So it's custom throughout, right? You said custom equipment, custom ingredients almost.
Yep.
And then your solutions, like, is it the same every time, or do you have to customize the builds, I guess, in terms of what you're shipping out? Like, how does it work?
Our products are near identical.
Okay.
So we really sell the same product in 4 different colors. The only thing that causes a level of variance is all of the injection molds that were designed for this facility were designed off of actual real cedar shakes. That's what they
Hmm.
used for the cast. So every single mold on that line is slightly different. The grain pattern is
Sure.
adjusted because it was from 70 different pieces.
Right.
Also, thing a lot of people don't necessarily always understand about chemistry. When we were taught like the very basics in high school and we see 1 + 1 = 2, right? Two hydrogen, 1 oxygen equals water. When you undergo actual reactions, the way that those electrons bond to each other, it varies every single time. And the most just minute fluctuations can cause adjustments in that. Temperature change of 1 degree, pressure change of 10 psi. Is it agitated? Is it not agitated? So yeah, every single thing that gets spit off is just a hair different.
Right. And what kind of issues does that cause?
It makes the quality management system incredibly complex. Staying ISO certified can be challenging to say the least. Making sure that we're adhering to our quality needs.
Hmm.
Kind of some other fun, like I said, this is a product that was designed just for this company, and there wasn't really any way to test its long-term capabilities.
Right.
So when we go out and install things, like we have to go off of an educated, engineered best guess on yes, this isn't going to fail.
Right. And so
Right?
far, so good.
So far so good. Yes, but like we can't know because we've only been in business for 15 years.
Right. Right. And
Yeah,
you're basically offering us like a 50 to 60-year guarantee on a product that's been out for 15 years.
correct.
Right.
And yeah, the kind of the challenge of QMS, like there's all the fun hype everyone gets. Another good buzzword, AI, right?
Yes.
The problem solver for anything and everything. But most people don't know what a language learning model actually is. Unfortunately. And like I get these pitches from these guys like almost on a weekly basis. Hey, we could automate your quality tracking. Like we can just mark your defects. But it's like, well, I have 10,000 iterations a day. And
Hmm.
today's 10,000 iterations are going to be different from tomorrow's 10,000 iterations, which are going to be different from tomorrow's.
But how do you do it currently?
Currently, we have quality control coordinators. They watch
Hmm.
every single piece roll off the line and they say, yeah, this looks like it should look, or it doesn't. And they
Okay.
grab random samples basically every hour on the hour and they do like the chemical testing on it.
So obviously LLMs today can't do that, but maybe in 6 months, right? Is that something that you're looking into? Is because in my view, anything a human can do, at one point, a machine could do, right?
Okay.
In terms of reasoning, it just needs the proper context. Because when somebody from your team looks at something, he has X number of years of experience looking at that exact thing, right? And then has good judgment.
Yep.
Um, and oftentimes the problem with LLM is lack of context.
Yeah.
So do you see a future where you could potentially automate part of that?
Maybe down the road as the technology becomes refined. I wouldn't say 6 months is the timeline though.
No, I was exaggerating. Yeah.
Yeah, this unfortunately is just a little too complex and a little too subjective.
Yep.
While there's certain specific facets I could teach something like that to maybe kind of cut the workload by 10 or 20% based on the progress that I've watched and people in my like professional network that work in software. I wouldn't anticipate any kind of LLM could do what people do for at least 5 years.
all guesses are good at this point. It's tough to say. I think it's gonna be interesting when the AI starts self improving, but and basically building itself, right? That's
Yep.
that's when I think it's gonna become, obviously progress faster.
It's like that, what was that TV show? Silicon Valley?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And this last season, I think,
Yep.
right?
The very last
Yeah,
season, the AI begins teaching its own AI. And
yeah,
what kind of spiral is that going to be? Is it going to be up or is it going to be down?
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's already doing it, but it's with limited success. But it's a fun thing to think about where that's going. Fun and also pretty scary. Um, if you could change one thing about your industry specifically, right? So you have a magic wand and something that really pisses you off or frustrates you gets fixed. What would that one
Mm.
thing be?
That's an excellent question. That's probably honestly a long list.
That's top one for now.
uh
And
Number one is the overuse of lean manufacturing.
okay,
Specifically the pull system.
okay, what's that?
Pull system in lean essentially says you make to order, right?
Sure.
It says that's the most effective, most efficient. And manufacturing as a whole, especially in the States, has treated that as a Bible for the last 20 years. And what that has done to operators as you move further and further down the work stream, which, we produce an end good for customers. So we are the very end of the manufacturing work stream, is that anything I need to buy in terms of equipment has obscene lead times.
Right.
Like it's comical. I Our central line is powered by what's called a heater rail. It's basically a giant 180-foot long copper circuit that keeps the whole thing cranking. It took me 6 months to get one
Mhm.
from the time that I ordered it. And it's the only thing that turns my equipment on and off. If mine had fully failed and it was in the process of failing, I'm just out of business. And that's
What do you do
so
actually?
frustrating. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. And I mean, I had to go buy copper strips and open that thing and weld them back in there,
Oh wow. Okay,
which
so
you
you gotta
should
like
not be
patch
doing.
it, right? But you
Yes,
have no choice. Yeah.
yeah, running that thing at like 4,000 volts, like that's an absolutely terrible idea. But it was my only option.
Mm.
And so yeah, and that is like a across the industry thing that I run into for almost all of my upstream vendors.
But is that a necessity, right? Like if they don't do that, like are they just gonna stockpile and then it's a whole other problem?
I don't think that upstream vendors necessarily need to stockpile what they make and manufacture. Like they don't need to have a dragon's hoard, so to speak, but I think having some modicum of inventory on the shelf, yeah.
Right. At least a couple.
Yeah, like, because it makes it incredibly challenging to maintain the things that they sell me.
Hmm.
And like I said, it's across every industry. I bought air compressors to this facility this year, 16 weeks. I bought pumps to this facility this year, 23 weeks. How do you plan a day-to-day running of a business around that? I don't need everything to be Amazon. I don't need it overnight, but when something breaks, it breaks. Like,
Well, new idea. Amazon Prime for for that equipment, right? Same
right?
day delivery.
That would be something.
So is part of that lead time actually building the piece, the part,
Yes.
or like, and then the other part is just like the logistics around shipping it to you?
The logistics is a non sequitur. Max 2 days. It's all just the assembly
So
and
it's
creation,
mostly as yeah, mostly
and yeah,
creating it.
it's like I said, it's because they've all shifted hard, hard, hard to that pull system.
Mhm.
So they just say, yeah, nope, we're not even gonna turn our line on until someone puts an order in, even if it's a complex multi-week assembly affair. They might not even order the materials for it for a few weeks.
Right. And then if someone forgets to press OK on that's another delay and
Yep, exactly.
hmm.
And so, like I said, while it's probably great for their bottom line, it's a really terrible experience for their end use customers.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure how you solve that really.
Yeah, I have yet to come up with a good solution other than, like I said, they should hold things on the shelf. Most of these
That
companies only make 5 or 6 things.
Yeah, so it's probably a compromise between, hey,
Yeah.
we have 0 and we have, 5,000.
And I mean, that's like another, like, kind of, I wouldn't say it's unique to polyurethane, but it's kind of a manufacturing headache that I've run into both here and at my time at Amazon.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't understand the difference between an operational improvement and an operational lever, right? With an improvement, you're bringing your whole bottom line of your operation up. You are just across the board making things easier, more effective, more efficient. Not very many things that you do are going to be an actual operational improvement. They're an operational lever. You are pulling resources from somewhere in order to put more resources somewhere else.
Sure.
It might not feel like it at the time, but like super easy example, right? Is you decide that the minute defect, like say, if we go back to Amazon, it's like, oh, this edge of the bag's cut, right? We're gonna just say that's no longer a defect, right? So our cost is gonna go down because we're not throwing those things in the trash, but our quality is gonna get worse because we're allowing that to go through. That is not an operational improvement. That's a lever.
Hmm.
And so in this instance, they've levered towards their manufacturing costs at the effect of, probably hamstringing their sales, because there's a lot of times where I see the lead time and just go, yeah, that's not going to work. I can't buy that.
Right. But in some cases, you have no choice because that's
They're
the
the
only
only
spot you can.
ones.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a polyurethane special. That's not the case for most manufacturing, right? Like they
Right.
probably just lose sales in other industries because of that.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's where they've overpulled the lever somewhere and they need to come back to middle.
What are you gonna do? Go elsewhere? No,
Yeah.
can't. We're the only ones.
Yeah. It's great when they do
Evil,
that.
evil laugh.
Yep.
What innovation in your industry are you most excited about in the next, couple of years? Something you see coming. It could be AI, it could be something else, robotics.
I think the most fun and interesting part of my day is the further refinement of the chemical processes, the different things that they can achieve. There's a lot of cool things on the manufacturing end too, right? We use a lot of robotics here, a lot of custom machinery we get to design. That's all really cool and fun. But the things we achieve with material science, that's definitely what's really cool in chemical manufacturing for sure. Like I said, we have a product that is fundamentally fireproof.
Yeah.
And we're making it more so. Every single roof in America has to have an underlayment. Adds cost, adds weight, adds all sorts of problems. Our product does not. It is fireproof without anything going under it. It's fundamentally hailproof. We test that by dropping a 2-inch by 2-inch steel ball bearing on it down a PVC pipe that's 45 feet tall.
Right. Like a
Yeah.
Tesla demonstration.
Yeah. And we
But
achieved that because of the, new compounds that we blended into that product. New compounds that we're continuing to design. There's a new formulation in the works where if a combustion point is reached on that product, it will begin to release water and act as a fire sprinkler system over your home.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's some really, really cool stuff out there happening in the world of chemicals. And polyurethane specifically is probably one of the most, what's the right word here? Flexible is not the right term. It's got so many uses, so many applications.
Adaptable, maybe?
Yes, it's one of the most adaptable plastics in the world. So like a lot of people don't realize, right? If you sit in your car seat today, and your car was built after 1990, your seats are made out of polyurethane. Same car made after 1990, your car dashboard is also made out of polyurethane. That's the same chemical. Two fundamentally different products in how they feel, how they react, what they do for you. But yeah, it's the same exact thing. And so to me, that's the interesting and cool thing about, the industry that I work at specifically.
Right. What's a software that you can't live without?
We are a fairly small mom and pop manufacturer. I mean, small in manufacturing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We got about 60 people here. We run basically our entire business through Microsoft Office.
Okay.
I am in the process of getting us onto Business Central. I am very excited for it. I currently live without it. But the thing I could not live without, or I wish that I still had, is a true inventory management system.
Sure.
Actual scan in, scan out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, our machines are super complex. We have 500 or 600 different parts that we have to keep on hand at all times. Going through those racks with a clipboard and then filling it into an Excel sheet. Yeah, not the
Not
greatest way to
cool.
do that.
No, no.
Things get lost, things get missed, things don't get ordered. It's very challenging. Hand scanners are a godsend. One of the best things that's been invented in warehousing in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that comes in the door just gets a scan, goes right uploaded.
Right.
Now, the other thing I'm very excited for us to have is a software application. It's the integration of a SCADA network. Currently, our lines, like I said, they're old and they're localized. I don't know what's going on with them unless I physically walk up to them and open up the central PLC. But with a SCADA, you can transmit all that data to just like standard, almost like WordPress web application. You custom fit it to you on Business Central. It'll let you know how you're doing real time anywhere in the world. We had those at Amazon, and it was super useful. It made multitasking very easy. It made delegation to floor level operators super simplified. All I had to do is just refresh a web page, say, hey, we have work here, we don't have work there, start migrating. Like,
What makes you better than your competition?
I think the breadth of my knowledge.
Okay.
I've done so many different things across so many different things that I understand how different facets of business application as well as manufacturing and operations intercede with each other. In a world filled with specialists where everyone's just super, super pigeonholed, they often only think of business challenges in relation to their specific niche within the business and not how their decisions might move either downstream or upstream to impact everyone around them. I've always excelled at finding the gaps and the bridges there.
So you're more of a big picture person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. And like I said, thinking outside of the box. That was drilled into me from day one at Amazon. There's always someone smarter. There's always a better way to do things. You got to be endlessly curious and just constantly asking yourself, like, is this the right way to do this? And, sometimes the idea can be completely out of left field, but actually be the perfect thing for you.
Right. And sometimes it comes from somebody with external perspective as well, right? They're not really...
100%. Yeah. I love bringing our sales guys onto the floor, having them walk over the equipment lines and be like, anything here look wrong to you?
Why isn't this cheaper? Oh, yeah, we could make it cheaper.
Yep, exactly.
What's next for the product? Because you said essentially, almost describe it as the perfect roof solution, right, at this point, and effectively fireproof and amongst other things. How do you improve on that? Is it just now being more efficient with production and basically at one point potentially improving on costs? Or
yeah, so it's twofold. Fold number one, we're a very specialized product right now. We only sell that shake look. So we need to design alternate roofing offerings, possibly citing other building products. Basically, if you don't want that wood look, like, we're not for you.
Right.
The reason I was primarily hired by the ownership here was to take this from a startup to an enterprise level business. So the next big thing for us is also just expanding our scale and our volume.
So more products.
More product lines and just more total product. Roofing is a $60 billion industry a year in America. I think our business is like somewhere in the 40 to 50 mil mark. We're a drop in the pond. We're a drop in the ocean. So scaling it, that's the next big thing. Like I said, breadth and depth. Then in terms of the actual chemical formulation, yeah, it's pretty close to where it needs to be from what it offers to a customer. From a cost and efficiency standpoint, there's still a lot of ground to gain.
Okay.
It's very unfortunate. The number one way that urethane is recycled and kind of cleaned up is incineration. Bit ironic for us because you can't incinerate it.
Yeah. What do they do?
We
it's there forever.
Yeah, we generate a lot of waste. There's currently a startup in Canada that I'm partnered with that is looking to grind our specific type of urethane waste, specifically our flash, into kind of a fine powder and then compress it into paver stones.
Okay.
There's still a year or two out on getting that factory up and rolling, but I'm very excited for that. We will effectively become a zero waste facility at that point. I definitely think manufacturing does have an environmental responsibility whenever and wherever it can take one. So I think that'll be really, really cool to see that finally get off the ground.
Where are they in Canada?
Yeah, they're out of Toronto,
Toronto. Okay, cool.
but yeah, they're in like seed funding stages. They got a concept and like one machine that they designed, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's you can't burn it. You have to
Yeah, like I said, I don't have another option, so
turn it
I
into something
personally
else. Yeah.
am very invested in this idea of theirs.
So, final question for you, Travis. What's a challenge that you see coming, as you scale, obviously, that kind of keeps you up at night and you're kind of puzzling to find a solution for?
Like I said, I think the biggest risk is sourcing
Mm-hmm.
on all those raw materials, all that specialty stuff that needs to be custom designed.
Is that a constant battle, by the way, Travis? Like, is it like, do you have a pretty reliable supply chain at the moment where you're almost like planning for contingencies, or do you always have to find new sources like on a weekly basis? Or
I don't necessarily have to find new sources, but I hate to say it, some of our upstream vendors they don't excel at doing their job. There's a lot of hand holding, a lot of solving problems for them.
mm-hmm.
Right? Them telling us, hey, I can't find my upstream raw materials to make you this. And so us having to go leapfrog over them and find it for them. Yeah. Yeah, that's a weekly occurrence. It's challenging, it's frustrating. The other thing is, maintaining a effective manufacturing labor force. There are a lot of niche and developed technologies in this industry. Controls engineers are a diamond in the rough. They're super hard to find. Day labor market's not super, super great these days. I live in the Southwest. Most of our day labor comes from largely, immigrants, people from the Southwest, and a lot of people of Hispanic descent are leaving because of the current climate in the country. So,
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah, so that is, everyone has, yeah. That's a huge challenge, right? My guys are scared of work. I had to train everyone on what to do in the event of an ice raid, which is insane.
Wow. Yeah, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, incredibly unnecessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just keeping those two things rolling, that's the hard part, the raw materials, and then keeping that physical labor force, and then those highly trained engineers. Like I was in an engineering school at ASU, and I can tell you that, the shift in my generation is much, much more leaned into computers, AI, software, that kind of thing. Hands-on, like industrial engineers, like there just aren't a lot of them right now. Even though it's a field that is highly, highly in demand and it needs people and it pays very, very well.
Well, young people, if you're listening and you're worried about, losing your job to AI,
my job's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I can't teach a robot to rebuild a pump. I can't teach a robot to wire in what, makes the robot run.
Right.
That'll be a day, right? Yeah.
That'll be, I mean, yeah, that's the,
when it can fix itself.
it's going to be interesting to see how that gets solved. It will eventually get solved, right?
Yeah.
Travis, thank you so much for your time today.
Yep. Thank you very much, Phil. You have a good afternoon.